You've worked hard for decades, paid your taxes, and dutifully contributed to the Canada Pension Plan. Now, you're dreaming of retirement. Maybe it's sipping coffee on the dock, traveling, or finally tackling that massive garden project. But have you stopped to ask the most important question of all? How much money will you actually have? Many people think the government has a fat check waiting for them with their name on it, a reward for a lifetime of labor. The truth is, government pensions are designed to be a foundation, not a full-scale replacement for your working income. It's time for a reality check, folks. Believing you'll automatically receive the maximum pension amount is one of the biggest fairy tales in Canadian personal finance. So if you're banking on a gold-plated government pension to fund a lavish retirement, you need to wake up and smell the instant coffee. It's on you to understand the system and plan accordingly. The goal isn't to scare you, it's to empower you. Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to your money. If you don't take the time to learn how these programs work, you're flying blind into the most financially vulnerable years of your life. You can't afford to make assumptions. You need to know the difference between the Canada Pension Plan, or CPP, and Old Age Security, or OAS. You need to understand what the Guaranteed Income Supplement, or GIS, is and whether you might qualify. These aren't just acronyms, they are the building blocks of your financial future. Think of Canada's retirement income system as a three-legged stool. If one leg is wobbly or missing, the whole thing can become unstable. The first and most well-known leg is the Canada Pension Plan, or CPP, or the Quebec Pension Plan, QPP, if you work in Quebec. This is an earnings-based program. You and your employer both contribute a percentage of your salary to the plan throughout your working years. It's not a gift from the government, it's your own money, which you've saved over time, being paid back to you. The more you earn and contribute, up to a yearly maximum, the more you get back in retirement. It's that simple. The second leg of our stool is Old Age Security, or OAS. Unlike CPP, OAS is not tied to your work history. You don't have to contribute directly to it. Instead, it's a benefit paid to most Canadians aged 65 and older who meet the residency requirements. Think of it as a basic, universal pension available to nearly everyone. To get the full OAS pension, you generally need to have lived in Canada for at least 40 years after turning 18. If you've lived here for less time, you may still be eligible for a partial pension, as long as you meet a minimum 10-year residency rule. The third leg is the Guaranteed Income Supplement, or GIS, and this one is crucial for low-income seniors. The GIS is a non-taxable benefit paid to OAS recipients who have little to no other income. It's a safety net designed to help those who need it most. Eligibility is based on your annual income, or your combined income with a spouse or common law partner, and you have to reapply or confirm your eligibility every single year. Together, these three programs, CPP, OAS, and GIS, form the backbone of retirement security in Canada. CPP is what you earned. OAS is what you get for being a long-term resident, and GIS is the extra help for those with the lowest incomes. Let's talk dollars and cents. What can you actually expect to see in your bank account from these programs? For 2025, the maximum monthly CPP retirement pension for someone starting at age 65 is $1,364.60. But hold on, I see you getting excited. That word maximum is doing a lot of heavy lifting. The reality is that the average Canadian receives much less. In fact, the average monthly CPP payment is closer to $835.91 for new beneficiaries. Why the big gap? Because receiving the maximum requires you to have contributed the maximum amount to the plan for almost your entire working life, with very few low-earning years. Next up is Old Age Security. In July 2025, the maximum monthly OAS payment for seniors aged 65 to 74 is $756.34. If you are 75 or older, you get a 10% bump, bringing your maximum monthly payment to $831.97. This payment is adjusted quarterly to keep up with inflation. However, there's a catch called the OAS clawback. If your individual net income in retirement is too high, the threshold for 2025 is projected to be around $93,000. You'll have to repay some or all of your OAS benefit. Finally, we have the Guaranteed Income Supplement for our low-income seniors. The GIS payment amount depends on your marital status and your income. For a single senior in 2025, the maximum monthly GIS payment is $1,094.78. This is paid on top of your OAS pension. For a couple where both partners receive the full OAS, the maximum GIS they can each receive is $658.98 per month. Remember, every dollar of other income you receive besides OAS will generally reduce your GIS benefit by 50 cents. So let's put it all together. A low-income single senior could potentially receive $756.34 from OAS, plus $1,094.78 from GIS, for a total of $1,851.12 per month from these two programs, plus whatever CPP they're entitled to. Your Canada Pension Plan benefit is a direct reflection of your journey through the workforce. The single biggest factor determining your payment is your contribution history. For nearly 4 decades from age 18 to 65, your earnings and contributions are tracked. To get that maximum pension we talked about, you need to have contributed the maximum amount for at least 39 of those 47 possible years. Any years you had low or no earnings, maybe due to unemployment, going back to school, or working part-time, will pull your average down. This is why so few people actually qualify for the maximum benefit. Life rarely follows such a perfect, uninterrupted path of high earnings. But the system does have some heart. It recognizes that life happens. The child-rearing provision, for example, lets you exclude the years you stayed home or worked less to care for a child under the age of 7. These years won't be counted when calculating your average earnings, which can significantly boost your final pension amount. Similarly, there's a disability provision that protects your CPP if you were unable to work due to a severe and prolonged disability. You must apply for these provisions. They aren't automatic. It's your responsibility to tell the government about these periods in your life. For old age security, the key factor is not your work history, but your residency. To get the full OAS pension, you must have lived in Canada for 40 years after turning 18. If you lived here for, say, 20 years, you would be eligible for a partial pension, which would be 20/40ths or half of the full amount. Finally, for the guaranteed income supplement, it all comes down to one thing: income. Your eligibility and payment amount are determined by the net income reported on your tax return from the previous year. If you get married, divorced, or your spouse passes away, your GIS amount will change because it will be recalculated based on your new household income. One of the biggest decisions you'll make about your pension is when to start taking your CPP. You have a window of flexibility. You can start receiving a reduced pension as early as age 60, or you can delay it until as late as age 70 for an increased payment. If you take it early, your monthly payment is permanently reduced by 0.6% for every month before your 65th birthday. If you start right at 60, that's a 36% reduction. Conversely, if you delay, your payment increases by 0.7% for every month after your 65th birthday, up to a maximum increase of 42% if you wait until age 70. Let's look at a simple case study. Meet Sarah and Tom. Both are entitled to the average CPP payment of $835.91 at age 65. Sarah decides to retire early and starts taking her CPP at age 60, receiving $534.98 per month. Tom waits until 70 and receives $1,186.99 per month. Tom's monthly check is more than double Sarah's. One of the most widespread mistakes Canadians make is assuming they'll automatically get the maximum CPP. As we've discussed, this is a pipe dream for most. People see that maximum figure published by the government and bake it into their retirement plans, only to face a nasty shock when their first payment arrives and it's hundreds of dollars less. Another blunder that costs people dearly is simply forgetting to apply. You'd be surprised how many people think these pensions just start showing up magically on their 65th birthday. They don't. You must apply for both CPP and OAS. Life changes, but people often forget to tell the government. This is a huge mistake, especially for those receiving the GIS. If you get married, enter a common law relationship, get divorced, or your spouse passes away, you must notify Service Canada immediately. Finally, many retirees forget about taxes. Your CPP and OAS payments are taxable income. The government will not automatically deduct enough income tax from these payments, especially if you have other sources of income like a company pension or RRSP withdrawals. This can lead to a big, ugly tax bill at the end of the year. Let's be blunt. For most people, CPP and OAS alone will not be enough to fund a comfortable retirement. They provide a solid floor, but it's up to you to build the rest of the house. This is where your personal savings and investments come into play. The two most powerful tools the government gives you for this are the Registered Retirement Savings Plan, or RRSP, and the Tax-Free Savings Account, or TFSA. An RRSP allows your investments to grow tax-deferred until you withdraw the money in retirement, and you get a tax deduction for your contributions now. A TFSA allows your investments to grow completely tax-free, and withdrawals are never taxed. Many Canadians are also fortunate enough to have a workplace pension plan. If your employer offers any kind of pension, especially one where they match your contributions, you should participate. Turning down an employer match is like turning down free money. Don't be afraid to think outside the box to generate extra income. Maybe retirement for you doesn't mean stopping work entirely. A part-time job doing something you enjoy can provide not just extra cash, but also social engagement and a sense of purpose. Do you have a spare room you could rent out? Could you downsize your home to free up equity? Also, make sure you're taking advantage of any provincial top-up benefits and tax credits for seniors. Many provinces have their own programs to help with costs like property taxes or prescription drugs. Every little bit helps. So, when do you want to retire? The answer isn't just about a date on the calendar, it's about a number in your bank account. Take a hard look at your expected government benefits, add in your company pension and personal savings, and see what that picture looks like. Is it enough? If not, you have choices. Save more, work a little longer, or adjust your retirement expectations. The key is to make these decisions with your eyes wide open. Government pensions are a starting point, a foundation you can rely on. But the retirement of your dreams? That's the part you have to build yourself. Now that you understand what the government will give you, the next question is, how far will it actually go? We'll tackle that next.